another episode of the Dead Road Podcast with Harold Moyo. Ha! Excitement. You know I am excited, right? There is those people you just meet and for the first time they just come in and they just illuminate the room. I'm sure in your, 20-something, 30-something years of living, I'm not the first person to say this.
No.
You see? We have our guest today, Mabongi Fero.
Yes, sir.
Do we drop the maiden surname? Or do we just say Mabongi Fero? Because I feel like there's people, with brands that always want to keep the...
Yes. So for me, well, thank you for having me, first of all.
It's a pleasure.
For me, even from when I started with music, I tried to just use the name only.
Yeah.
Because I knew at some point a young man will come in and, change my situation, So I've been trying to just keep it as Mabongi. Even now, especially with more official things, projects and stuff, I just keep the name only, Mabongi. Obviously, on my social media stuff, I think it's Instagram and Facebook, yes, it's Mabongi Fero, but my handle still remains at I am Mabongi. So I've been trying to just keep it as name only.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to keep it as Mabongi.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I'm blessed to know a lot of people, right? Mm-hmm. And this baby is still new. Mm-hmm. I know there's a lot of people start podcasts and they don't, continue.
That's true.
On
That's
episode
true.
2, it's like they just go on. But when I started, I think I was like on episode, I was not even on episode 1, I was on episode 1. I was like, I need Mabongi on my podcast.
What an honor.
And reason being, as I said, number one, you're one of those people who just walk into the room and you illuminate. There's just
Wow.
there's just some sincerity with you.
Oh, wow. Okay,
Right.
yeah.
And I think the world needs more people like you. So thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here.
So Mangoni self would assume Mabongi means the mother of praise.
Not really. It's actually gratitude.
Yeah.
So, as a Tonga girl, but the only people I hear talk like this are my grandparents, right?
Yes.
So my grandparents, when they say thank you, most people know Nakensa or Nikensile, which means I would be Kensani or something like that. But no, my grandparents, every time they say thank you, they'll say Hibongile, which means thank you. And that's actually my official name, Bongile. So my parents were actually saying, Lord, Hibongi, Shkwembu, Hibongile.
Yes.
And that's how I got the name Bongile. And then South Africa, Mabongi is like street thing and it just stuck. But I got it when I was very young, apparently. Oh. Yeah, I don't even remember when. I just grew up and the name I was hearing in my ears was Mabongi. Only when I was like, how must my birth certificate says? So yeah, the name really just stuck. So my name actually means we're grateful, gratitude.
Crazy.
Thank you. Yes.
Crazy. I love that.
Yes.
I love that. And I've always
But
said...
I like your version. Sorry, I like your version too. The mother of praise.
The mother of praise. Yeah. Because, usually in Goni, especially with your Zulu
Exactly.
Xhosas and your Ndebele, we put ourselves in there, the symbols. There's a Noma Tamsa.
Noma Temba.
Noma.
Yes.
Noma.
Yes.
So it then comes up and says the mother of...
That's true. That's true.
So yeah, but reason why I wanted to just focus on your name is because I've said this before, that I'm fascinated with names.
Oh, awesome.
And I believe names are prophetic. Mm-hmm. And usually when you name a child,
yeah,
God grants you the years for you to live, to actually see the child in their
That's true.
adulthood and
That's
everything
true.
else, you realize what you probably named that child is what that child
Oh,
is.
that's true.
Do you think that's the case with you?
Yes, actually, I think so because gratitude. That's just me. I'm all about gratitude. So people around me have also told me I kind of say the word thank you a lot.
Yeah.
Even my husband is like, "Bri, you've already thanked me, so it's, so it's fine." Like
Yeah.
really. So I absolutely agree. Actually, I had not thought about it till right now, and now that I look at it, you know, yeah. Even growing up, my mom would say, "It's okay, sis. You've already said thank you." When I was
Yes.
growing up, you
Yes.
know. So yeah, I absolutely agree with you.
You actually do say thank you a lot from the music I've listened to. You know,
Yeah.
which is beautiful.
Yeah, yeah,
Which
yeah.
is beautiful. You know,
Yeah.
there's something about a heart of gratitude. There's something about, you know, just being thankful, because being thankful actually opens up more doors for you. It actually
Absolutely.
creates room for more things to come. So
Absolutely.
there's continue saying thank you a lot. I respect your mom. I respect your hobby. But please continue saying thank you, thank you a lot.
Yeah, yeah,
And you talk about hobby,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But I wanna get to him first,
Okay.
right? But I know he's a major part
Yes.
right now
Yeah.
and forever.
Yeah.
Well, until you guys meet Jesus, because there's no marriage in heaven.
Yeah.
Because there's no marriage in heaven.
Of course.
Did you grow up in Pretoria? Because when I met you first, I know you as a Pretoria girl.
I just stayed in Pretoria for a long time. I was actually born and raised in Mpumalanga, Bushbuck Ridge.
Okay.
I only came to Pretoria after matric. So, yeah, I only started living in Pretoria when I left home. When I went to varsity, yeah, I studied at TUT, and that's why I've lived in Pretoria for so many years.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you identify as a Pretoria girl, but you're from Bushbuck Creek.
I am from Bushbuck Ridge.
Now, let me tell you two things interesting about where you come from.
Okay.
Right. Number one, I'm such a football fanatic.
Okay.
Right? I'm such a football fanatic, but South Africa has always influenced Southern Africa. That when we were growing up, there was a team in the Premier League, which was Bushbuck Ridge, you know, and Bushbuck used to buy a lot of Zimbabwean players,
Oh, okay.
you know. So I didn't know it was actually a place until I came this side also for varsity and for uni. Then I realized it's actually a place.
Yeah.
With you being Tonga too, last week, there's one of our family friends, a woman who's married to a Tonga man,
Okay.
brilliant engineer guy, well
Okay.
known and everything else. So unfortunately, the mom passed on. And in my head, I'm like, oh, so they're probably going to Limpopo, so might have to, if we're going, we might have to go with them to Limpopo.
Yeah.
And they're like, no. The mom, they actually grew up in Mpumalanga, Bushbuck Ridge.
Yeah.
So you see that whole
Yeah.
assumption
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
always saying.
Look, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
The moment people pick up that I actually speak Tonga or my Tonga girl, they're like, oh, so you're from Limpopo? I'm like, no, I'm actually from Mpumalanga. And they have to explain how, like, Njani, how does this happen? Because automatically in our minds we think you're maybe from Giani, Malamlele,
Yes,
or that
yes.
side. So
Tanin.
yeah, you know Tanin and
Yes.
stuff like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, in Mpumalanga, there in Bushbuck Ridge, that's where this girl comes from.
Cool.
Yeah.
So we know you for music, right?
Yeah.
And before you were a speaker, because I definitely know you're now a speaker.
Okay, go on.
It comes with the territory. Before you were a speaker, we know you for music.
Yeah.
Did that passion and for music start in Bushbuck Ridge?
Yes, I was very, very young. And I knew there was just like a musical thing in me, but I'm just a child, so I don't exactly understand. I was so young that even that musical ear was there. I started school when I was about 4 or 5 years old instead of around 7. And you know, in school, in schools, I don't know if they do have this now. There were choirs back
Yes,
then,
yes, yes.
and these choirs would go competing and stuff like that. So they would even have what they call the infant choir, which means it's the beginning is grade 1, grade 2.
Yeah.
They don't even harmonize those ones. They just sing their lungs out. They
Yes.
just allow them to be kids.
Yes.
So I'm young, I'm about 5, 6, I think, and they put me in that group. And first day I get there, and the teacher is teaching us the song. This would happen after school.
Yeah.
The teacher is teaching us the song, and we are singing and stuff like that. I hated every moment of it. I get home. Oh, before that, so because we sing in unison, everyone just sings. You just only supposed to sing in one key, and me, I'm trying to harmonize. I
Yeah.
sing alto.
Yes.
This is crazy. Excuse me, I sing alto, and the teacher is like, "Someone wa bimba around here. What's happening?" You know. And we keep singing. I'm singing alto.
Yes.
And she gets to me, Mabaso, no, you're not singing the right notes. You know, you're supposed to sing like this. I'm like, yeah, fine, whatever. Then I joined the rest of the kids. We all sing in unison. And that was my first and last time going to that choir. I get home, I'm telling I am never going back there. Those kids can't sing. They just scream the song. My mom never forgets the story. You know, so from there, they put me on a choir of a bit older kids. I think they're 10, 11-year-olds. And there, I do remember I was singing alto. And they auditioned me, and I made it into the choir, and we went around competing. So this thing literally started there in primary school when I was very young. I did not even understand how I'm able to understand or hear music and stuff like that. But yeah, it started back then. That seed was just planted like that. Even though after that, in high school, and I was not really singing anymore. Going to my early years of varsity, I was not really singing much except at church only. So yeah, it really started a long time ago.
Cool. So something which you hated, right, end up becoming part of you.
Yes.
And you spoke of church, you spoke of you singing in church. That means definitely your family was a family of faith.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. We were raised by prayer. I do remember quite a few evenings at home. I mean, it's just our parents and my sisters, and absolutely loved the evenings where we'd just all sing first and then pray together. It was absolutely beautiful because everybody can sing.
Yeah.
My dad would sing bass, my mom would
Come on.
probably lead.
Yes.
And with my sisters, we're all harmonizing and just having a great time at home. So yeah, then that's one thing I'm really grateful for, growing up in a home that just introduces you to Christ at an early age. That's the best gift ever.
It's definitely a legacy. I
Yeah.
call it legacy, you know, a heritage which you always have to give to your
Absolutely.
children and your children's children. And one thing I know is that for me, Eden and Amaya will always say, our dad, you know, and our mom gave us this.
Yeah.
Out of interest sake, which church did you go to? Because when you talk about bass, I'm really just checking out in terms of like you know, hymns and stuff.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that was the church that I went to for the first 17 years of my life. Is called Latter Rain
Yeah.
Christian Church. People know it as Zion.
Yeah.
That was my background for the first 17, 18 years of my life.
Yes.
So our home church, even my grandfather, paternal, my father's father was a pastor at Latter Rain. So we grew up as Zion, and you know, music was Zion is very rich in terms of harmony. And it's something that I always talk about, that when I got to school, I learned a concept called, I cannot believe I forgot. But this concept that they were teaching us at school, I'm like, yo, this is not new to me. It's something that was done back at my church, where when you're singing and harmonizing, you get people singing lines over each other, but it's not clashing. It's just absolutely beautiful. Counterpoint, yes.
Yes.
I get to school and they introduce us to counterpoint, and I'm like, yo, I grew up hearing this back at my
got
church.
this. Yes,
Exactly. Because that was my influence. I did not grow up with instruments and stuff like that. No. Just a cappella. That was my church. The setup was that anyone can start a song. If the MC or the pastor says, can we have a hymn, then we can pray, so we can get into the Word of God. Anyone in the room can start a song. So that's the kind of, I was very shy to do it. Anyway, story for another day. I never ever wanted to do it because I felt like everyone would just turn and look at me, this kid, you know. But that's the environment I grew up in, and I'm grateful for it, because that's where my musical ear kind of grew, and got sharpened to be able to hear harmonies, because it was just harmony only. Absolutely beautiful.
No, the funny part is that also the first time I learned how to read music was, so my mom was seeing a man and they ended up getting married, and that man was coming from those bougie apostolic faith mission, faith churches, where the way black and whites and stuff and everything else. And at that time we were Presbyterian, and then obviously we then moved to Pentecostal, where we were there for a long time. But he basically brought in and started teaching me how to read music.
Cool.
The hymn books were like a bit, long like this. And then even
music is probably
Jesus, love of my soul. You have to know how you say,
nice.
Nearer my God to thee, I need all those things. And I'm like, this is amazing. So I basically was learning it at home.
That is so cool.
I basically was learning it at home, and so your counterpoint, it's just one of those things when you come to Pretoria, you then flex. So you move from Bushbuck Ridge, right? And from your family church, and then you come to Pretoria.
Yeah.
Is there a culture shock there?
A bit, because my uncle is a pastor, my mom's younger brother. Okay, two of my mom's younger brothers are pastors. So when I moved from home, my uncle's church was a year old.
Okay.
And moving from there into that environment, everything was absolutely different. Having to sing with a band was a bit of a new experience for me, because the church I grew up in, as I said, anyone just starts a song.
Yes.
And now you must rehearse, and the kind of songs that you're singing are different. And now I'm getting introduced to different types of music. And I used to get frustrated in school because the friends that I had made then, they would ask me, hey, have you heard of this artist, or especially American? I'm like, no, I literally did not know anyone. Like, where on earth have you been? I'm like, I grew up in Zion. You guys cannot blame me for this. I've never been, in this part. So culture shock, yes, but growth, absolutely. Because in a few months, I noticed that my singing had improved drastically.
Yes.
Because of the environment I was now in. They would send us, okay, we're doing this song and this song and this song this week for praise and worship. Then you have to learn this song. And, Mabongi, you'll do this one and that one, type of vibe. I grew so fast musically, just being in that environment. Because I was totally different from the kind of church setup that I was used to.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And that's one thing about change of environments, even when you travel.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's a catalyst for
growth. It is.
It's a catalyst for growth, and it kind of like just pushes you in a way.
Absolutely.
But also, I think new competition or new set of eyes are usually good for every human, who walks under the sun. Whether be it in business, be it in ministry, be it whatever you are doing, it's always important.
Yeah.
And while you're doing that, how you already decided you're gonna come in and study music, right?
Not immediately. When I was in grade 10, I knew I wanted to do music,
Yeah.
but my parents were like, no, bruh, you're going to be like a drug addict and just lose your mind
Yes.
and, just, you won't have direction in life. So you're going to be a doctor like your sister.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So
you're a brilliant child.
no, I'm not those brilliant. I have to work extra hard for everything.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm one of those people who have to work hard. I don't think I'm those very brilliant one. Creative, yes. Yeah, so book smart, not really. So I have an older sister who was a pediatrician, and my parents were so excited they were going to have 2 doctors in their house. Well, it did not work out. And I did try, actually. So I tried a lot of things before I went to, because by the time I went to study music, I was 24, 25.
Okay.
Yeah, it took forever.
So what did you study first at TUT?
TUT I went only later when I started music. So when I got to Pretoria after my matric, I want to study medicine, but my symbols are not that great. I have like D's and C's, which is not good enough. There are kids who have A's and B's.
Yes.
So which means the number that they want, they'll get that number, and with your C's and D's.
Yeah.
Oh. So I registered again, tried to improve my science and mathematics. So I'm in Pretoria, but basically I'm still in matric. Then I was living with my uncle, I think.
The pastor.
Yeah. And okay, cool, I do that. The following year, it didn't go well. And my parents are like, you're still young, go back again. Yeah.
Because they were seeing was Dr.
Yeah.
Mabongi.
And as a child who feels maybe they're right, this music thing it's not even a thing. I didn't even know you could actually study music. I just had a desire in me that, I want to do music, but I don't even know where to start. To show that, when God creates us, He really has a plan for our lives. I remember there was one of these guys from back at home who said to me, the way you sing so well that at TUT they would take you for music. I'm like, okay. Already He's given me a name called the university that can do what I'd like to do. So this guy was like my older sister's age, so he was already in university doing something else. He's like, you sing so well. If you want to study music, TUT can actually take you. So, but it didn't go that well. After my matric, I did 2 more years of trying to improve. It's not working out. I went to Medunsa. Then I don't know what it's called now.
Yes.
I spent a year there. Oh no! Before that, I did a business course for a year. Project management. I did project management for a year. After that, I went to Medunsa for a year. After that, that's when I'm about, because I've spent almost 4 years now.
Yes.
Yeah. And now I'm like, it's not working. And I remember my uncle, the pastor, is the one that spoke to my parents, saying she's already wasted about 4 years of her life. Just let her do this music thing. Maybe it will work out. We don't know. Remember they had a long conversation with my parents, and after that, I remember my mom saying, okay, cool. In January, it was around December. In January, you can go and try and do this music thing of yours. I was so excited. I get to TUT. They're like, we need you to be able to read music. Read music, and you must have some basics, basically.
Yes.
Yeah, and my bubble was burst because I could not read music at all. I auditioned, I sang. They're like, "Wow, you're amazing, but you can't read music." So you have to do a bridging course. So this is year number 5 of me not doing anything.
Yeah.
Cool. I was happy. I'm still in music school, almost. You know, following year I auditioned. Finally, I got in, and that's when I actually started my degree. So I did quite a few things.
You know, that's the funny part about people's journeys. You always see people at a certain point.
Yeah.
And you think that they just jumped there.
Yeah.
You know, and it was just like, voila, I'm
Yes.
here.
Yes.
But they do know, people do not know that there's a lot
That's so
of
true.
work,
That's so true.
lot of disappointments, lot of pain, sweat,
Yep.
you know,
Yep. Yep.
and until you get to that point. Did that teach you or make you think, when I have my kids, I'm going to be more attentive in terms of skill or in terms of like the traditional way of how life is done?
Yeah, it did actually. So when I was in music school, or let me just say a few years back, I had a thing where I'm like, when I have my kids, I will just let them, if they want to study music, great, I'll let them study music. But now, I've never said this out loud, I can't believe I'm not saying that I won't allow them to study music. I'm one of those people who even growing up, I've always tried to check what else am I good at. Especially now as an adult, when I was growing, I'm like, what else am I good at? What else can I do? I'm still searching, by the way.
It's a beautiful search.
Yeah, I'm still searching, by the way, because I got to a point where I was like, I've got a sister, Adventure. My sister's very talented. Whatever she tries to do, it just works out. For example, she's in the accounting space. That's her full-time job, but she bakes cakes. That's her business. So she's absolutely incredible at that. Her cakes are beautiful and very tasty, and she's self-taught. So I always thought, hey, my sisters have got this thing about them. They can touch here and it works out, touch it. But with me, I struggled to find what else are you good at, what else can you do. Anyway, so now, if my children say to me, Mom, I want to study music, my question is going to be, what do you want to do with it? What's your plan with your music degree? Listen, studying music helped me in ways that I would not, as a singer or as a creative, it has done so much for me. But with my children, I would want to be a little smarter about it, in a sense that, what do you want to do with your degree? What's your plan? If you just want to perform, I'll teach you, bruh. What do you want to learn? I have a music degree. Sit down, we'll learn how to. If you want to learn how to read, I will teach you how to read music. If you want to learn how to play, your father will teach you how to. Because my husband plays keys, he plays guitar, he plays bass. So for me, the thing is, I would want my children to flourish. I want them to be their best that they can be. And I pray that, Lord, let them be more talented like their father is. Because for me, I felt like the one thing that I do very well, even before I studied music, the one thing I did very well was music. Other things I was like, yeah, okay at them, but the one thing that I'd really excel in is music. Maybe because I put in so many hours of practice and working hard at it. But with my children, that's the question I want to ask them. Why? What do you want to do with this degree? What's your plan with it? And there are things that you can learn and not necessarily having to go and spend 4 years full-time, because that course was not easy. I know it sounds easy. Oh, I studied music. What? That thing kicked our behinds
Yes,
proper.
yeah.
We fought until we graduated. I didn't even finish on record time. Oh, this I talk about all the time. I did not. I spent more than 4 years at TET because my first year I was not doing well at all. At some point, I felt like my joy has just been sucked out of me because the workload was so overwhelming, and everything is just completely new for me. And then I failed a major, which means instead of finishing in 4 years, now I'm going to finish in 5 years. Then I got to a point where I could not afford school, so I could not register the following year. For 2 years, I was just at home living by the grace of God. I was not at school, and after 2 years, I have an aunt who was like, "Hey, I'd like to help and, pay this huge debt that you have with the institution so you can go back to school and actually finish your degree." So, yeah, my studying journey has really just been God. Even going there, my first year, my first semester was actually sponsored by Samro. So I see on the notice board that Samro is actually doing this. I'm like, well, I have nothing to lose. I applied and get an email a few weeks later. "Dear Ms. Mabaso, congratulations. Da da da. We're giving you so much towards your education." And yeah, that's how much. That's how God has been so amazing. With my schooling, it was really just by the grace of God. Because every year, I'd have I don't know if I'm going back or not. My parents are like, "And this is the amount we owe them." And I'm like, yeah, we do not have that money, But somehow, by the grace of, there's actually a year that I registered, and I was owing them about 23,000 rand. I don't even know how they allowed me to register because they're very, very strict with that. By God's grace, I registered, and I was able to continue with school. So, yeah, my journey of school has not been that easy. I know I have a tendency of getting into other things.
No. It's a podcast about Mabongi, And the funny part is, but I won't get into my details. People should buy the book, The Dead Road, for that. I also have a miraculous way my fees were paid when I was in Cape Town.
Yeah.
And actually it was the whole miraculous journey from me getting my visa to study.
Yes.
I left Bulawayo to Harare, then going to it's home. So it's beautiful when I hear stuff like that where you get to see stuff is cleared.
Yeah.
And I think about parenting, there needs to be a bit of intentional parenting.
Absolutely.
And intentional parenting means that you actually have discussions with your kids.
Yeah.
And when you're not waiting for them when they are now in matric or a year before matric to have discussions.
Yeah, that's true.
I was having a discussion with Eden, who's our eldest, and Eden was like...
How old is Eden?
Eden is 9.
Okay.
Yeah, she's going for 10 in July the 4th. So we had this conversation, and she was like, I want to do this. And she also wants just to be, number one, she wants to be called Dr. Eden.
Okay.
Right? But she wants to be a business person.
Okay.
Right? And she's also such a creative too.
Oh, nice.
And I had to tell her that actually didn't even have to go far. I was like, look at your mom. Right? Your mom, probably one of the greatest songwriters I know. Right? But because she focuses mostly on the health and medical stuff, your mom, she's also in the health and medical space. Maybe that's why Eden wants to be called.
That's true.
Yeah. Health and medical space. And I had to tell her that right now, your mom is in class learning something new which she wants to learn, and this is like maybe 2 decades after school.
Wow.
And this is one of those things where it's 1 hour class. So I was telling you that you can do absolutely everything.
She can definitely do it all, exactly.
So, but then the thing is that, as you said, there needs to be an art or a hack, a cheat code of how you do some things. Because some things you do not have to go and enroll, at an institution and everything else.
That's
so
true.
we have to be intentional as parents. We have to spend time to actually try and build up our kids to
Exactly.
say why,
Why,
and
yeah.
everything else. 'Cause-
And be able to guide them. I think also my parents have never heard any of their children wanting to go the creative direction.
Yes,
You
yes.
know, my sister is the firstborn. She's the pediatrician I
Yes,
was telling you
yeah,
about.
yeah.
And the second born, Vui, she studied this fashion design
Yes, yes.
and stuff like that. So according to my parents, okay, that as much that's also a child who's in the creative space. She studied fashion design. She studied around that space. She also studied makeup and all that. So my sister is that kind of person, and maybe that's why her business is in all these things. She can literally pull off a whole wedding on her own.
Yeah.
So then you get Adventure, who is in accounting, that's her space. And then you get little old me, who just wants to sing. And my parents are like, whoa, 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 whoa. This we have never encountered in our lives
Yeah.
before. It's a bit different. So, kids like Eden are so blessed to have you as a father who can say, look, my girl, you can definitely do all these things. You can, spread yourself to be able to, we can still call you Dr. Eden and you're the best creative ever and being able to do all that. So I think our parents were just like, okay, because then as a child, you have to go for certain professions, doctors, lawyers,
Yeah.
teachers, nurses, engineers.
Yeah.
At some point, I actually even applied for engineering. I just tried everything. Whatever my parents would advise, that's just what I went for. So kids these days are blessed. I mean, my own children I'll be able to advise them better if they want to be in the music space, and I'll be in a better position to help them as well. Because with me, everything I had to find out for myself, fight, and how do I do this? How do I register a song? Things like those. So our children will be in a better position to be able to know, hey, I can actually do all these things. I can be a scientist, and I can also write great music and be able to do all these things.
Cool.
Yeah.
So now you've done all this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And do you remember the first time, or what's the story behind your first time on as a recognized artist, or where you went home and you're like, this was cool, even if there was no money in the pocket, or if there was money in the pocket, where you're like, this was cool,
Sheesh.
or a single dropped, or
You mean going back home specifically?
no, in terms of the industry now. Now that Mabongi is now an artist now.
A moment where I can say that was really cool.
Oh, that was like the start of where I know the inceptions, especially with a lot of journeys, they don't start, in the middle. Right?
Yes.
I know most of these things start obviously from the time when
You have
kids,
to start
and
somewhere,
everything.
yeah.
But what your first single, your first show, do you remember that point, and how did you put that together?
I think for me, a moment that I probably won't forget was hearing my song on Radio 2000.
Okay.
Yes. Like, I was like, whoa, what? And I did not bump into it. A friend called me so frantic, like, bruh, go to Radio 2000 right this moment. Quickly rush in the house, and I go there and I'm hearing it. Time. It's not Sunday. It's just during the week, and they're playing this gospel song. I absolutely lost it. I was screaming like a mad person. Those are some of the moments where I was like, oh my gosh, this is absolutely so incredible for me. I was just so excited. I have quite a lot, but this one just sticks out. Is the one that really...
And in as much as it sticks out, you know what the good thing is? You had learned how to in terms of royalties, music,
Yes.
Samro and everything
Yes.
else. So
Yes.
when Radio 2000 pays you,
Yes.
that means at least there's some bread which comes. You know, at least there's some
Yeah.
bread. There's some bread.
Exactly.
There's some
Yeah,
bread which
that comes with that. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's beautiful. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. And it's also quite a big deal because it's not Christian radio, as you say.
Yes, yes.
You
For me, that was something else that was making me completely lose my mind because, as I was saying, it was not Sunday morning or anything. It was during the week. And a friend of mine was like, yo, you have to listen to this. So it was, sheesh, it was so exciting.
And I feel you, it's not, in as much as that's amazing, right? I feel you those type of people who are slow cooked.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah, yeah.
Slow cooked, that by the time it comes up and they dish to you, this thing is that the aroma and everything else is happening. Because when I listen to, not jumping the gun in my train of thought, when I listen to your music, your project now, in as much as it's different, I really feel like South Africa has been waiting for this.
Wow.
It's like it's a stamp now to say, okay, I am here.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
I am
yeah.
here. And there's a lot of moments which I can remember, especially with you, because I love authentic people. I love authentic people. Sis Winans is one of my best artists of all time.
Yeah.
That's why no female alive, whether it's Lauryn Hill or Nicki Minaj or
We all
Rihanna or
love- we
Beyonce,
all love Sisi.
don't have more Grammys than Sisi.
Yeah.
You know? And I listen to you. We're just going to come into your project, then we come back again.
Okay.
We're waiting for your project to come to drop, right? You've done your recording, which I couldn't come to, but we're waiting for your project to drop.
Yeah.
And I remember just before you dropped the project, I saw you at Ntogo Zombambo's,
Yeah.
was it the album launch?
Yes, the album
Right.
launch, yeah.
And Ntogozo is loved by the whole of South Africa, but I feel it's either you give Ntogozo envelopes with money,
Okay, go on.
because you're the only artist who can say you're probably gonna be featured on Ntogozo Mbambo's album.
Not
Recently.
really. Not really, actually, because when she called me, it was actually a surprise because according to me, I was also await. I knew she was in studio recording. Actually, by then, I knew she's probably done now
Done,
because I knew they've been in studio for quite a while recording a new. So I was also one of the people who are just waiting for this new album as well, anticipating it. And when she called me, I was like, I thought you were done recording. She was like, yes, actually, I am done. But this song specifically, I just can't help it. Every time we play it, I just hear your voice. I really just keep hearing you singing. So when are you free? So we can hit the studio. We organized it and it happened. So yeah, it was a bit of a surprise for me as well. The first my feature on her first project was definitely a dream come true because Douglas is absolutely amazing. And for me, I count myself blessed that I'm able to experience her off stage and see the kind of person that she is. You know, she's just really amazing as a person, and you know, when she hits the stage, she's just a firehouse. So yeah, I was actually quite surprised myself.
That's fine. That's fine. I, as a person from the outside, I'm just saying she's got a tender. You know, she puts envelopes, money, somewhere to say, I have to go on this project. But my point is, you get on that stage and you've got a signature sound
Okay.
where you just come in, you just change everything.
Wow.
Yes, the oil is there, yes, the anointing is there, but that training also, you know, where you just chilled, but you are actually bringing in good music, you know. I'm sorry, Christians, but when I would like to come and say, your Lala Hathaway,
Oh, my word.
or your Jasmine Sullivan, and it's one of those things that is really, really nice. And so now I'm waiting for your album at that point in time when I see you there, right?
Yeah.
You jump on stage and you do your thing. I'm waiting for your album, and I'm like, I want to hear this album, to see how this album is going to be.
Yeah.
And then the album drops. Your husband, I think that was the end of the concert, but you guys put it in as an intro, or it was in the middle or something like that.
Where he's speaking.
Yes.
It was actually in the beginning, before I was not on stage, but the whole team was on stage already. Yeah. That happened in the beginning before I went on stage. So yeah, I didn't even get to see that. I only heard it in post that, so this happened, So yeah.
Yeah, so I want
that
to
was-
shine a light on this project
Okay.
a bit.
Yeah.
Because I then listened to it. So I don't do school runs most of the time.
Okay.
I'm blessed to not do school runs. But when I do the school runs, it's like my kids then always know that there's new music.
Okay.
Who's this one?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
everything else.
Yeah.
But now I'll play it all the time. And
Yeah.
my kids sometimes are like hip hop kids, Christian hip hop kids,
Yes.
and everything else. And I listen to this album. When I listen to this album, Sounds of Redemption, it is Mabongi. Check it out, Mabongi, Sounds of Redemption.
Yeah.
And I just love everything about it.
Wow. Thank you so much.
I just love everything about it. There is definitely, I think in the past 2-3 years, we'll put this as a top 3 Christian album in the country.
Oh my word. I'm honored.
Yeah, I know the Summers are not going to call me now to judge. They're not going to call me now to judge now because I'm coming.
You're gonna be biased.
Risa is not going to call me now. Risa is not going to call me now. Top 3 album according to me, but also maybe it's because also, as I told you, I'm like more grown by your sissy.
Yeah, yeah.
And even the types of music and that come in. Do you think this is your best project to date?
So far, yes. I'd definitely say yes. I feel like with what I've done before, okay. So when I released Tama, my first album, I thought this is the dopest thing ever, and we moved to the next project, Tintualo Grace. I'm like, I don't think I can do better than this. I'm like, I don't think I can do better than this. And now with the Sound of Redemption, I'm like, okay, clearly God is up to something around these Mabongi streets because I'm just in awe. But I think so far, I think I can say yes. This according to me is the best work we've put out so far.
And I agree with you. Definitely the best work. And definitely I'm waiting for, I know people like you are not really about your crowns or your SABC, blah, 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 awards and everything. Summers. I'm definitely waiting for that. And I definitely know that this project will actually do even much more greater, because I listen to it, but I just also listen to the writing, which is definitely different and
very different, yes.
Definitely different from all the projects you've done.
Yeah.
But also there is a part where in the middle of the project, there's a gentleman at this called Tatenda, I think.
Yes.
Yes. That song is amazing.
The Believer's Anthem.
Yes.
Yeah.
The reason why you had to actually, when there's a reprise,
Yeah.
When there's a
yeah.
reprise, you definitely know that there is something with this thing.
Even that reprise was actually cut because after we did the song, finished, we did the reprise. When Tatenda had left the stage, when we're like, okay, we're moving to the next song, we couldn't. Everyone in the room just kept singing signs and wonders are all around. We believe. Like,
Yes.
it went on for quite a while. So my husband was like, yeah, we have to go. You guys,
Yes.
time is gone.
Yeah.
But it was, the evening was just God. Even now I'm still in awe of everything that happened that evening when we recorded The Sound of Redemption. We really just saw God in an amazing way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel there is, in as much as that's a song, but there is a message which is supposed.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
There is a message which is supposed to go to, especially our generation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That we still believe in miracles.
Yes.
We still believe in signs. We still believe in wonders. Yes, there might be people who doctor them, but we're still a generation which believes in miracles, signs, and wonders.
That's true.
And he also comes in and dimensions of a couple which I lost children.
Children, yes.
Not once.
Yeah.
Not twice.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then
They lost 3 kids. Yeah.
3 kids.
Yeah.
But they're on their 4th pregnancy.
The Lord gave them triplets.
The Lord gives them triplets.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that, and for me that song is, I'd see notifications on YouTube, and where people were like, would write and say, hey, my husband and I have been believing God for kids, and watching the song, we are so encouraged to know that our God is able and he will do it for us. And, seeing people like that who are like, we're encouraged, we believe the Lord will do will do a miracle for us. For me, that's bigger than just, it's a great song that is out there. So hearing that, it encourages people to believe, hey, our God he's able to do the impossible. For me, I'm like, okay, Lord, that's it. So that song is one of the songs that are really, really close to my heart. Yeah.
I've got quite a few, but we'll move on.
Yeah.
We'll move on. But
Yeah.
I do love the one with your hubby JP Fero, because my ebony self,
Yeah.
my ebony self will love a bit of you can hear when it's coming in that he was definitely raised by either R&B or your Marvin Wine, your Marvin family, your Winans family.
He comes from a very rich music background.
Yeah.
With them, in their church, how they played music, they would read. They learned how to read at church, because learning how to play at church, their music is on paper. So for us, it was, growing up on Tilong or Levangeli, or our local hymn books. It's just words only. With them, they learned how to read at church. So there's also that kind of country flair that is in there. He writes beautiful songs. He writes beautiful songs. So I'm really grateful for him. And yeah.
Before we actually go to our last moments, right? Because now that we're on your hobby,
Yeah.
the last time I saw you, way before COVID, you Emabaso, obviously. And then you went and you married a pastor.
Oh my goodness.
You went and you married a pastor.
Wow, yeah.
And how has it been being married to a pastor, one, and actually being a backbone of a ministry, of a local assembly?
Sheesh. Married to a pastor. Okay, to me, I'm just married to JP. What I love about him is that to me he's my husband, he's my friend, he's my roomie, as I like to call him. He's just the guy that married me, and I don't have to feel like I'm married to a pastor. Now my life must be dry or whatever. No, I'm married to an amazing man, and first, and even with him, he's my husband, and then yes, he's also my pastor. But being married to him and knowing that he's a pastor, I would say to him, "You tricked me, Wana," because when I just met him as JP, and over a while, I'd hear other people calling him Fundisi. Some people would call him Dad, and I'm like, maybe it's just people that, after a while, it's like, yeah, actually, no, like this pastor thing, talk to me about it. It's like, yeah, I actually have a calling over my life, and, it went on and on. He just told me everything about it. I'm like, now you tell me, it's before we got married. Anyway, being married to a pastor it's challenging. So I needed to clarify that for me, I'm just married to JP, an amazing young man that I met. And the ministry part of things, oh my goodness, I need grace daily, weekly, because with him, I always tell him, I'm like, when I even knew, so his father was also a pastor.
So he's a PK?
Yeah, he's a PK. His father was also a pastor, but he passed on a few years ago. And I always tell him, you were trained your whole life, even your dad. When he was about 16 years old, he says his father had to go overseas, and he said, son, I'm leaving the church in your hands. When I'm gone, you're in charge. And not because there were no other pastors and stuff like that, but I think his father could see that this boy is definitely, something.
Remember what you spoke of intentional parenting.
You see, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think his father picked it up when he was very young, that there is definitely something in this boy. And he says, son, I'm leaving you in charge. There were other pastors, other elders, and stuff like that, but it's like, I'm leaving you in charge. So he says, I preached my first sermon at the age of 16. So I always say to him, you kind of had your whole life to train for this, and you had your dad right there at home to groom you, and you saw it firsthand. And with me, I got married, and I'm like, yo, we're doing ministry now.
Yes.
But I don't try to be something I'm not. I still want to be myself, and I try to get people from church to just call me Mabongi. Obviously, they don't want to do that. Hopefully, after today, they will. Yeah, just call me by name.
Let me tell you, they won't. They won't. If you were me, who started it from back in the day, yes, but they won't.
So ministry has been. Wow, was you were talking about catalysts earlier, and I feel like ministry has been that for me, even with my walk with God, in my growth as a child of God, because it's a huge responsibility. It takes a lot, and it pushes you to literally trust God with everything. Okay, Lord, especially as a young ministry, we still have a long way to go. So I take it one day at a time, or one service at a time, or 1 week at a time. I do my best, and what I can't do, well, I cannot do. And JP knows I'm here regardless. I got your back. And stuff like that. So I just do it by the grace of God. Literally just do it by God. I don't try and be someone I'm not. This is it. This is just me. Even when I have to say something in front at church, I don't try and be JP. I become myself. I just stand up there and speak what God has put in my heart and go and sit down. So ministry has been, yeah, it's been quite a journey. It's been exciting. I told him earlier in our days of starting this church some weeks I'd be like, I don't want to go. And then we were still living in Pretoria because after we got married, we continued to live in Pretoria. So the drive, first of all, would have to wake up extra early and leave very early. After church, no one wants to drive back home. You know, we look at each other, okay, so who's driving? Because we're both tired by then, you know. So, yeah, ministry has been such a journey for me. I've been loving it. It has been stretching me. It has literally pulled me out of my cocoon, if I can put it that way, out of my comfort zone. Because now I must be like, hey, I didn't see Harold at church this week. I wonder how he's doing. Is the family fine? We need to check up on people and, be there for people and stuff like that. So it's been, wow, it's been quite a journey for me. But so far, I'm really having a great time. I'm absolutely loving it. I was telling him that because I served with my uncle for more than 10 years. That's it. I think I'm done, especially doing worship team work and stuff like that. Telling him now I just want to be that coach behind the scenes. I'm happy to teach, I'm happy to train, but not being on stage. And now with a new ministry, listen, you just put your hands wherever there's a gap. You must just do whatever
you have to. If you want to be in the parking, you have to be in the parking. If you're coming to be an usher, you have to be an usher.
You just have to do what you gotta do.
No sound,
Literally everything. So that's how ministry has been. It's got its ups and downs, but we've been seeing God in an amazing way. We have been seeing God. We have been seeing some miracles in our midst. We really have just been seeing God. And those are some of the things that push us to keep going, even on those days where we feel, it's a Lord, Father. And, we're like, Lord, we see you are in our midst and we see you doing a great work here. So we will pull ourselves and keep on going.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And one thing I can tell you is that you called for this. God has equipped you
Amen.
for this. He's already done it. He's already done it, and you guys will do great.
Yes.
Before we go, I've seen that you have been, you and your husband, you basically pack your bags, and then you go to different countries. Just like not even like for a weekend, you guys were going like
for weeks.
For weeks and weeks. And tell us more about that, because I know now, just recently when your album dropped, I'm thinking you're going to be doing a media run and everything else, but there you're in Ghana.
I know.
For almost, I don't know if it was a fortnight or more than a fortnight.
For 3 weeks, for 3 weeks.
And then I saw then you're in Zambia.
Yeah. So my husband and I, maybe let me speak about JP. So JP is one of those people who are multi-talented. He's not just a pastor, but he's an IT head. So everything digital in the IT space. Okay, that's what our our business is as a family, maybe, if I can put it that way. So he's in that space, and now God opened a door where he helps churches around those areas. When it comes to their live stream, whether it's cameras, whether it's that digital space. So we've been doing quite a lot of that, and now we seeing ourselves going into other countries doing that. And while JP is busy with the technical teams, I am busy with the musicians in the churches. So we've been doing quite a lot of that, and we're also traveling again soon. We've been around quite a bit, especially here in Africa. But we're so blessed that we're able to do that. And also, even though our ministry is still young, we are grateful that we've got pastors that will still take care of the work even when we're away. So we're not stressed about that, hey, dude, if we're away for 3 weeks, by the time we come back, there will be no church here.
No people.
Oh, no. Things are still moving, and we come back, we hear a great report of what God was still doing in the midst of his children, even in our absence. And that is what we always pray for, that, Lord, this work should not be about JP and Mabongi. It's God's work. Whether we're there or not, God is always there. So that for me is such a blessing, because even with my uncle's church, when I was younger, serving in the praise and worship team with my uncle, I would, whatever bookings come, I would put the worship ministry at church first. If I get a booking on Sunday morning, I'm sorry, I can't make it. If it's Sunday after church, trust me, I'll be there. But if I couldn't do other churches on Sunday morning, because my church needs me. If one person is not there, if I'm not there, then it means my team suffers, you know. So that's how I grew up. That is the thing I grew up doing, such that even now, it's not easy for me to just say, okay, cool, let's just do it. No, even now I still live on that same thing. I can't just be away on Sunday. So the traveling, though, has been amazing, but our hearts are always thinking about home, how things at home, how the saints doing back home, and all that stuff. So yeah, that's what we've been mostly doing. So it looks like God is opening more doors into Africa, and not just for my music ministry, but even for business. So that is awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You have just booked FNB Stadium. You are about to do a show, and you have to choose 5 artists.
I feel like, okay, I'm listening. I have to choose 5 artists.
You have to choose 5 artists who will come and support Mabongi.
My word.
Who are these 5 artists?
Ntokozo will definitely,
will go. You put Ntokozo because you're the only artist she features all the time. So you're the only artist she features all the time. So you definitely put Ntokozo, yes?
Oh my word. Are we talking in SA?
Everywhere. You only have 5.
Okay. I have Ntokozo Mbambo.
Yes.
I have Nathaniel Basi.
Yeah.
From Nigeria. I have maybe Donna McClurkin.
Okay.
I have Sissy Winans, absolutely.
Yeah.
I have who else? Oh my word, I don't know. Let's see, who would be the 5th one? Oh my goodness, I cannot even think of who have I always wanted to do stuff with. Okay, I'll probably have Kaya as well. Kamteto, yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming through.
Oh, thank you for having me.
We'll make sure that Ntokozo is there. Pastor Nathaniel is there.
Yeah.
Auntie Sissy is there.
Listen, Uncle Don is there.
Uncle Don is there. And Kaya too.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming through.
Thank you so much for having me.
Project.
Thank you so much.
And please, when you win those awards, just send me screenshots.
Yeah. I'll come back. I'll do you one better. I'll come back so we talk about it.
Yes, we have to talk about it because there's a lot we didn't talk about.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much.
Awesome.
To growth and more growth.
Thank you.